Cool. All right. So I think this is working. Awesome. So I'm going to give another shot at this live streaming thing just because it's so much easier. And now that, life's got a lot busier again, it gets harder to actually make good content and make videos. So, yeah, we'll see how we go with this. I will pre-warn everyone, as with the last time I tried this, I'm not that good live. I don't think. Brain not work that fast. But, hey, I feel a need to do stuff sometimes. And this has come across my desk and I really want to watch it and have some yucks. So as you can see there, this is a pragerU video titled I Used to Be Antifa. And it's about a fella who was apparently part of not being a fascist and is now, I guess, not that anymore, which is concerning to me. So look, obviously, very obvious prediction going in. I'm quite sure that this is going to focus on Prager's and others' strawman-y view of what this amorphous Antifa thing is. Obviously, keep in mind, as though you don't already know, there is no Antifa, air quotes, like there are anti-fascists. There are groups that call themselves Antifa. There is no single unified Antifa. And as well, again, it feels weird to need to say this, but being against fascism is a good thing. Yeah, anyway, let's watch. Let's see what they got.
There was a time in my life when I was angry, bitter, and deeply unhappy. I wanted to lash out at the whole fascist system, the greedy, heartless power structure that didn't care about me or the rest of society's innocent victims. A system that had robbed, beaten, and stolen from my ancestors. The whole corrupt edifice deserved to be brought down, reduced to rubble.
Well, that's already a bit of a problem. I mean, I think obviously, anger at the system that oppresses people is absolutely legitimate. Not all of us who are against anti-fascism or anarchists or anti-caps or anything like that, or anything you want to, conflate with anti-fascism, which they've already started doing. Not all of us are accelerationists, guys. A lot of us just kind of want you to not be fascist. The clue is in the name. The clue is in the name.
It's a perfect recruit for Antifa, the left-wing group which claims to fight against fascism. And so I became a member.
You're lying. You're lying, and I know you're lying because there is no Antifa membership. I wonder what... I'd love to be able to know exactly what this guy's interactions with any sort of left-wing group was. I'd love to know the truth of that. But that is a bold-faced lie. That is a flat-out fucking lie.
Now I was one of those who had the guts to...
Oh my God! Yes, the Antifa lanyard.
Fascists who were exploiting disadvantaged people. I wasn't a card-carrying anti-fascist. There's no such thing as an official Antifa membership.
So why did you say you were a member, you fuckwit?
But I was ready at a moment's notice to slip on the black mask and march in what Antifa calls the Black Bloc, a cadre of other black-clad Antifa members, to taunt police and destroy property. Antifa stands...
Black Bloc is a tactic. So, again, this is why we know you're lying. Black Bloc is a tactic, right? The Black Bloc is just simply a tactic of anonymity and also to make it appear as though there's more people there than there actually are, by wearing black. I feel like you need better researchers, Prager. I know that's like not really a cutting insight on this, but holy shit.
Stands for anti-fascist. But that's purposely deceptive. For one thing, the very name is calibrated so that anyone who dares to criticize the group or its tactics can be labeled fascist.
No. We call ourselves anti-fascist because we're against fascism. There's plenty of examples of people criticizing different actions by anti-fascist groups, fuck, what's an example? Like here in Melbourne, for example, we had a brief period of going out and punching on with people like the True Blue Crew. And, because that was sort of the instinctive thing. Like, okay, here's this pack of thugs. Like, we're not intimidated. Let's get out there and do that. And, it became pretty evident pretty quickly that that wasn't working. And so we changed up tactics. Now that came, well, certain people changed up tactics. I'm speaking very broadly there, of course, but that sort of initially came from outside, from those groups that were willing to go out and punch on. It was sort of it's not really working, guys. And we know it's not working because every time you do punch on with them, they just get more people because there's a shitload of gronks that just really want to fight. There's not that many people on the left that are actually that way inclined. So we needed to change up. Yeah. Just one example. There are loads. Yeah.
This allows Antifa to justify violence against all who dare stand up or speak out against them. A few groups boldly declare themselves Antifa, like Rose City Antifa in Portland, but most don't, preferring to avoid the negative publicity. That's part of it.
That's whatever. They got such a hard on for Rose City, don't they? Rose City's fucking hardcore. Good on them.
Antifa's appeal and strength. It's hard to pin down. There is no identifiable leader.
Because there isn't a leader. Like, we are almost, we are horizontally organized. A shitload of us are anarchists. We're not going to accept leadership anyway. The reason you can't do that is because that's not how we operate as anti-fascists.
To be part of Antifa, you must adopt two basic principles.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Tell me all about myself. This will be great.
You have to have the mentality of an anti-fascist. And second,
what the fuck does that even mean? You have to have the mentality of being in it. Oh, God, I hope they expand.
Must be willing to enforce that mentality. To adopt an anti-fascist mentality means to reject everything that is fascism. But that begs the question.
Yeah.
What is fascism? Well,
Here we go.
Most Americans associate fascism with Nazi Germany or modern dictatorial states like Venezuela, China, and North America.
Venezuela. Yes, Venezuela is a far right populist movement. Oh, God. Fuck me. Do I really need to go into any differences between like Nazi Germany and Venezuela? 6 million Jews, maybe. Holy shit. Imagine being Jewish and watching this video. Fuck me. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of Israeli, Zionists that would probably swallow their rage at that, but that is fucking disgusting. That is fucking disgusting. I'll hand you China and North Korea, though. I don't give a fuck about them.
Korea, to Antifa, fascism means Judeo-Christian values and capitalism.
No. Jews against fascism. There are a shitload of Christian anti-fascists. Capitalism doesn't necessarily mean fascism, of course. I mean, capitalism often leads to the power structures that create fascism, for sure. I am also an anti-capitalist, but no, capitalism does not mean fascism. Again, if this guy, the two options, as always, ignorance or lying. And I think this guy is a bald-faced liar.
As an Antifa group said on its Twitter account in 2018, the fight against fascism is only won when the capitalist system is smashed.
Which is actually correct. Capitalism leads to fascism almost inexorably. Yeah, and look, what's this at Antifa? Does that even exist? I really want to see if that's a thing. Let's try. Oh no, I can't go to Twitter. That's all right. That's cool. I wonder if that's a real account. Oh dear. But no, I mean that's a valid point. Capitalism has frequently led to fascist regimes. Capitalism does inexorably lead to power structures, which are bad, and again will usually lead to fascism. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Really, I don't know why you've got your panties in a bunch about that so hard.
And they mean smashed. breaking
Yeah,
windows,
smash
tearing
it.
down statues, throwing Molotov cocktails, looting.
Ah, yes, the removal of statues to none of these things that they've said here, like if any anti-fascist thinks or anti-capitalist thinks that these things will actually fundamentally stop capitalism, they're fucking wrong. And I don't think many of us do. These are cultural things a lot of the time. Looting's not really something that could ever be considered praxis, I don't think. Depends on the circumstance, I suppose. Fighting cops, I mean, shit, man, that only ever happens when we need to. Like no one goes up against cops with the especially in this day and age, with the understanding or the belief that you're going to come out of that well off. None of these things are about, removing capitalism. They're gestures at best.
And burning businesses and harassing and physically assaulting people.
Don't be a fascist and you'll be fine.
Saw it all in the summer of 2020 in Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis, and other cities. Antifa is not solely...
Is that like, the civil rights uprising where people were mad because cops were killing black people with impunity? I always come into these hoping to bring a sort of a jovial attitude to these things, but it's just not that funny. Like you're equating people's civil rights movements with burning down capitalism or burning down any... Like, no, mate, no.
Responsible for all left-wing political violence. Not every attack by left-wing radicals is an Antifa attack. But Antifa exemplifies the worst of this dangerous ideology, which is becoming bolder and more prevalent in American society.
I can't wait to see your data on that.
Joining Antifa was the...
No data? Really? I'm shocked.
...worst decision of my life. How did I get out of it?
I mean, I will say, I'd love it to be true. More anti-fascists, the better for sure. But no. What can I say? No, it's just not reality on the ground.
Like anyone who gets out of something bad, I encounter something good. The very system that I had sought to destroy. Friends. People who turned out to be my real friends.
Friends? What? The system that anti-fascism seeks to destroy is friends. Yes, the common refrain from, great anti-fascist and anarchist thinkers, that friends are the enemy. Oh my God.
Pointed me to challenging thinkers like Milton Friedman, Thomas...
How is that a challenging thinker? Milton fucking Friedman.
Soul and Ben Shapiro.
Oh, God. The cool kid's philosopher. God damn it. I mean, what can we do? I mean, I mostly know most about Friedman and Ben Shapiro. I think Sewell's more of an American figure. Like, as in, in Australia, we don't see a lot of them. I mean, Friedman's economics have been... There's so many good critiques out there. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, we could talk about one sort of underlying... Actually, which is actually pointless. I was going to say we could talk about, like, some of the underlying problems with capitalism and those contradictions within. But what's the point? Because, again, that's not explicitly anti-fascist anyway. Shapiro, I mean, if you're still listening to Shapiro, man, I can't help you, mate. I really can't. Did Shapiro pay for his spot here, do you think?
And eventually organizations like the Leadership Institute and pragerU. What they said just made sense.
Ah, good. The appeal to common sense. Yes. That vital concept to the human race, which once told us that the earth is flat. Look, common sense needs to be challenged, mate. Yeah, it leads us to some pretty bad things, for example. Like, I mean, common sense is often used to justify, I don't know, I mean, it's often used to justify racism, anti-immigration positions. I mean, I know that these are the positions that you hold, but yeah, no, no. Common sense is not a good base. Well, what you believe to be common sense is not a good basis for basing your not a good basis for an ideology at all.
and offered me a better way to live.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is a better way to live when you get to grift and be their token POC for right wing politics and capitalism. I have absolutely no doubt that that's a better way to live than being down in the trenches, so to speak, with the rest of us.
Antifa and the radical left did not care about building a better society. They cared about control.
I just, every time I hear this, I love it. Like, you're being paid by a billionaire to talk about how the left wants to control your lives. Like, anytime they get specific on this, it falls apart very quickly, of course. Look, I guess, I can only speak in as general terms as they are at this point, but no, we just want to stop people being fascists. Again, the clue is in the name.
They could only offer me more anger, bitterness, and unhappiness.
I mean, those are the sorts of things you have to go through when you want to change an unjust system. Just closing your eyes to what's actually happening. I mean, if you have the ability to do that, I'm sure it's more comfortable. But yeah, sometimes bad things have to be faced up to. Yeah, I'm sorry you weren't up for that. You fucking snowflake.
I always expected to keep my past a secret. But as I saw cities around the country struggling against the rise of left-wing political violence, while left-wing and
oh god, this burn down cities narrative is so fucking tiresome. I mean, Portland's still there. Like, yeah, where are these burned down cities? The cities that are most destroyed in sort of recent memory, like, cities that have suffered under the realities of capitalism, like, I don't know, fucking Detroit, to raise an American example. It's not there, and again, this is why they don't bring up specifics, because anytime they get pinned down to actually, getting like going any deeper than these vague assertions, it just falls apart immediately.
even liberal politicians said nothing, I knew I had to speak up.
What the fuck are you talking about? Didn't say anything. There was so many, like, Democrats. I mean, I'm not even sure if a lot of Democrats can be called liberal, but whatever. There are a shitload of Democrats who spoke out against the violence. I mean, Joe fucking Biden was talking about putting anarchists in jail. Like, and I know that you know this, Gabrielle, you lying little shit.
If people like me, who know what is really behind Antifa, don't, the left will obliterate what it means to be a free American. So here I am. And here's my message. Young people don't drift to the left because they believe the left is superior. Most do because they have never been exposed to anything else.
What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god, this fucking... Oh, their victim mentality. Holy shit. Like, oh my god. I know where this is going. Whatever.
Leftism has become what Andrew Breitbart once described as
Breitbart. Oh, good God.
as the default position.
The default position. In what way? Again, fucking hell. I would love to I just want to reach through this screen and grab this little shit and go, how? Prove it to me. The default fucking position. Man, all of the schooling in the US is centered around capitalism. Like even here, and I'm sure it's not that fucking different. Like, we were always brought up to believe that capitalism was the only way. Capitalist realism is absolutely a fucking thing. Go read that book, by the way, if you haven't already.
The American idea is more powerful than you think. It turned me around. It can turn others around too.
the American idea. Maybe he means the American ideal. I mean, and that again is just, that's unconscionable. I mean, so much of what they refer to as Antifa, which turns out to just be Dem socks or sock Dems even, you know, they're after that American ideal. It's just that they want it for everyone, not just people who are prager or people willing to accept his money. That is just, oh man, the audacity. I wish I had that. I really do.
The core of that idea, call it the American dream, is not about money. It's about freedom. That ultimately is the...
Yeah, I mean, you may be aware of the concept of anarchism and how it's about being against authority. But I mean, you know, but of course, I mean, what do they mean here? The freedom to what? Yeah, and every time that they get specific on this, it's the freedom to be a fucking bigot and the freedom to exploit labor. And no, that's not freedom. That's freedom for a very select group of elites.
The reason Antifa has to resort to violence. Because if conservatives are allowed to speak freely, they will peacefully convert more and more of Antifa supporters towards the values of liberty. And then Antifa will vanish like the nightmare.
What do you mean if they're allowed to? You've always been allowed to. Fucking cancel culture narratives, man. Jesus Christ. Like, I cannot believe that people don't watch this and just go and just get bored fucking stupid. I know I am. Jesus Christ. Has to resort to violence. There will be a time when capital will not give up power. Yeah, that's a reality. But, you know, again, these narratives around violence just fuck me off. I mean, everything that you're talking about here is supported on violence. You know, you stopping our marches, you stopping our labor strikes, you stopping fucking anything, like any action that you care to mention. I mean, holy shit, we saw the cops stopping people getting food from dumpsters not that long ago in your country. Like, that is all an application of violence. Your system is absolutely supported on violence. All of them are. Like, that's just a reality of how systems work currently. You know, and the utopian dream, the utopian anarchist dream, yeah, hopefully, it'll just be based on mutual association and mutual voluntary association. Yeah, it's a long way off. It's not even worth fucking talking about because it's centuries into the future, in my opinion. But yeah, the point is, your system, Gabrielle, is absolutely upheld through violence. It's just it's violence that you think is okay. Yeah,
it is. I'm Gabriel Nadales, the student rights advocate for the Leadership Institute and author of Behind the Black Mask: My Time as an Antifa Activist.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get a hold of that. Wonder if that's like an article or a book. Man, I can't wait to read all the lies there, man. So how old is this guy? I wonder. So what is it? Gabriel Nadales. Let's have a look. Gabriel Nadales. Looks like it is a book. What have we got here? Come on. Free speech advocates in 2016. Just tell me how old he is. Because what I'm expecting is he's possibly going to be a bit too old anyway. But then again, maybe I'm just assuming that most conservatives are old. Because most of them are. Yeah, can't seem to find that easily. He was an Antifa activist and then he took an economics class. I love this, this tying of like economics got me out of being against fascism, because it's he railed before against this idea that that capitalism and fascism should be considered correct, like intertwined. But that really just proves it, doesn't it? Like, I was converted to capitalism and now I'm no longer an anti-fascist. Well, if there's a better proof that capitalism is or leads to fascism, I don't know what it is. Come on, give me some fucking info on this dude. politics to 2009. Eventually joined the Antifa movement, disillusioned with leftist politics. Yeah, so maybe that timeline works out. Yeah. Anyway, let's let him finish his last little bit there.
Thank you for watching this video.
Whatever.
To keep pragerU videos.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, liar. Absolute fucking liar. Yeah, not much more to say. I was really hoping that was going to be funnier. You know, it is laughable, but I guess, I don't know. I think I'm just kind of tired from just hearing the same shit over and over. Anyway, let's leave that there. Bye.